Teen pregnancy is always wrong and it's always avoidable. Let's read about one. Jesse's story, finding purpose through teen pregnancy. First of all, I honestly don't even believe this is real. I hope it's not, but it kind of just seems fake. If it is real, then there are all kinds of problems with it. Let's get into it. This is not her. This is a stock picture. There's another stock photo picture down here, also not her. So that's what makes me think it's not real. Anyway, okay. See, so it's clearly recently from 2024. I got pregnant when I was 15. It was the first time I ever had sex. Perfect. That's the perfect time to have an abortion. You are not fit to be a parent. You're not fit to be a birth mother. You're not mentally fit to have sex. You need an abortion. Anyway, I grew up in a big family. Okay, red flag number one. Loud, fun, always together. There were lots of people in and out of the house, and I was always hanging out with my siblings and cousins. Okay, when there are a bunch of kids and the parents are out of it, this bullshit tends to happen. And people don't think about that because they're too busy having kids on their own. They don't think, hey, what's it going to be like when I have, 6 teenagers or like 6 kids? How am I going to give all my attention to those kids? They don't fucking think about that. Anyway, my sister was older than me and I spent a lot of time with her friends. This meant that as I was 11, 12, and 13 years old, I was hanging out with 14, 16, and even 18-year-olds. Yeah, okay, problem. Why would an 11-year-old be hanging out with an 18-year-old? I don't want to hear that shit. Okay, I started partying with them early. Okay, another problem. Why the fuck is her mother allowing this? Why are her parents allowing this? Smoking and drinking from middle school on. My mom didn't really know a lot of the things I did. Oh, really? That's not surprising. Since I was so young, she didn't suspect anything. When I was in 7th grade, I started dating one of my sister's friends, a 9th grade dropout who was fun to party with. That sounds ominous. I was 12 when we started dating, and we didn't have sex at first. Okay, whoa, stop. Why is a 12-year-old dating a 15-year-old? That's a problem. He didn't pressure me either, but as time passed, I became one of the last virgins in my friend group. Okay, another problem. Why is this girl, she's 12? And she became one of the last virgins in her friend group? What? His friends would tell me how we had to have sex or he'd leave me. Eventually, I felt like it was just the next step for us. Where is this girl? Florida? Some trashy area, I'll tell you that much. Our first time having sex, I didn't enjoy it. I was uncomfortable and mortified. In hindsight, I wasn't ready, and after the first time, I didn't want to do it again. Okay. If he asked, I would make up excuses or just not show up at his house. But after a month, I missed my period. Another month, and I missed it again. I was having cramping, stomach pain, and I was constantly tired. This is when you tell, you know what, you don't even have to tell your mom if you need an abortion. You can just go get one. Or you can try to go get one. Why don't you want to tell your sister? And go fucking get an abortion. Anyway, deep down, I knew what was happening, but I ignored every symptom. See, that's not someone who's fit to be pregnant. Obviously. You're in denial. You're ignoring every symptom. You're also a 15-year-old girl. Get her an abortion. Somehow I thought if I ignored it, I could make it go away. But after 3 months, it was getting to be past what I could ignore. One day, I was at a basketball game cheering, and I got sick. I was in the bathroom, and 2 of my friends came in to check on me. That's when I told them I was pregnant. Why is that in bold? I asked them not to tell anyone, but they told my teacher the next day at school. Yeah, it's time that you get swooped up and get taken to an abortion clinic. Like, that should be the law, and I'm not even kidding right now. I am 100% serious. Teenagers should not be allowed to carry pregnancies to term. I truly, truly mean that. I asked them not to tell anyone, but they told my teacher the next day at school, who told my guidance counselor. This ended up being a blessing. My guidance counselor was the first adult I talked to about it, and she was very encouraging. Why would you be encouraging to a teen who's pregnant? You need to encourage her to have an abortion. My boyfriend, on the other hand, went blank when I told him. In fact, the only thing he said was, "Oh." He didn't know what to think, but eventually he told his mom. Wow, I am not surprised at all that the other child in this equation, is not fit to be a father. Every day, his mom and my guidance counselor would both ask me, "Have you told your mom yet?" Every day, the answer was no. Finally, my guidance counselor told me, "If you don't tell her this weekend, we are calling her to come here Monday and we are telling her together." With that deadline, I still waited until Monday morning right before school. "Mom, I have to tell you something. Are you pregnant?" "Yeah." Well, Mom, that was Mom's first thought. This mom is a POS. Any mom who allows their teenage daughter to get pregnant and then allows her to keep it is a POS. Quote me. "I hadn't used tampons in months and I was sleeping all the time. My mom had 4 children of her own. She knew what was going on, but she didn't have the brain capacity to properly care for her 4 children." Because you're not being properly cared for if you're 12 years old dating a 14 or 15-year-old and your mother doesn't know. Even so, after I told her, I watched her go through the same roller coaster of emotions that I had already experienced. "What are we going to do? How could this happen?" Followed by, "You know I am here for you no matter what. We'll figure this out together." Then back to, "I can't believe this is happening." Yeah, also, well, it seems like your mom's not really fit to be a mom, so it's not really surprising that it's generational. Yet even as she passed through these feelings, what stands out most in my memory was how excited she was. Whoa. She should be excited to take you to the abortion clinic, is what a fit parent would do. I remember when she said, "Aw, we're going to have a baby." That stuck with me because even if she was disappointed in me, I knew then she was still excited there would be a baby. You know, a lot of women are very capable of caring for babies, but they're not capable of caring for children. They're not capable of caring for toddlers. They're barely capable for caring for toddlers. They're barely capable for caring for adolescents. This mother is clearly not capable of caring for kids. So that's why she was excited for there to be a baby so she could actually do something she was good at again. Okay. In that moment, I felt so much relief. I knew she would be okay. Okay. I knew she would be okay, not that I would be okay. You knew she would be okay. So you're putting emotions on other people when you should be focused on yourself. I was even more afraid of disappointing my dad. Wow, your dad's in the picture? That's surprising. But he supported me too? He bought me a chocolate rose with a note that said he would always be there for me. With my parents' support, I ended up being able to enjoy some parts about being a teen while also learning how to be a good mom. How'd you learn that? How'd you learn to be a good mom? Your parents didn't teach you. I don't think your guidance counselor taught you. Anyway, even though my parents are not the reason I chose to have my baby, yes, they are. If they had been like, "Oh, honey, it's okay, let's go get an abortion," then you would have had an abortion and you would have had fit parents, but I digress. Their support meant the world to me. You know what? It doesn't even matter how quote-unquote well-supported you are as a teen, because you shouldn't be experiencing parenthood as a teen. Ever. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a millionaire, honestly. I don't care. Because your brain is not developed. You're not capable of caring for a child. Right now, I could give you tens of thousands of pages of studies that show that teen parents are not fit as parents, that they're worse parents than people who have kids when they're older. We know better than to allow this. And stupid propaganda like this lets it keep happening. As a pregnant 15-year-old, okay, I'm a little confused because now the timeline is different, because she said before that she started dating this guy when she was 12. And were they dating for like 3-4 years? And they had sex one time and she got pregnant. This is why I don't trust this thing. This is why I think this is made up propaganda. Because the timeline is weird. I didn't feel much shame. I mostly felt unlucky. All my friends had been having sex a lot longer than me, but none of them got pregnant. Part of me also felt hopeless. A teen mom? Where's my life going to go? What is there for me? Well, you should have had an abortion. Then you'd actually have a proper life of your own. Like, you literally never have your own life if you're a teen parent. You never do. You never get to experience anything on your own. And I guess you do once your kid is much older. But even then, like, not really. You don't learn to be independent. As it turned out, life had a lot more good in store for me than I expected. While many of my friends were supportive, I also lost a lot of my social circle during that time. Yeah, good. It's because it's not age appropriate to be pregnant as a teen. Sorry. After all, it wasn't too fun to party with a pregnant girl. At school, I often felt judged, which I thought was ridiculous. It's not like I was the only one who had sex. Maybe you were the only one who wasn't on birth control. Some people would pull me aside and tell me I was ruining my life and I should have an abortion. Yeah, no shit. Though it's a little too late for that now. I would get upset. I knew that wasn't what I wanted. Who were they to tell me it would ruin my life? Sound-minded people? Thankfully, my teachers and guidance counselors helped me often, and my family supported me consistently. My mom helped a lot with Brianna when she did arrive, and my friends have many good memories of hanging out at my house with her. Once again, we were okay. It's funny how the thing that might feel like one of your lowest moments can turn around to fuel your purpose. Because I was one of the first teens in my school to publicly go through an unplanned pregnancy, I decided to do something about it. Along with one other pregnant student and my school nurse, we started a group for teen pregnancy called Teen Awareness. By the time I graduated, there were 5 of us in the group who were all teen moms. Yikes. What in the fuck? Where the fuck is this? Is why I want to know, where the fuck is this? Listen, I knew girls in high school who had abortions. It happened. Okay? Maybe that's because I'm from a very educated town and people were smart enough to give their daughters abortions. But anyway, I also became a student leader with Teens Against Disruptive Decisions, like becoming pregnant, like having sex when you're really young and not ready. My experiences in high school with student leadership launched both my work in youth and teens and a public speaking career. I found so much purpose as I learned. I don't know, how long is this? Okay, it's almost done, thank God. About teen pregnancy and sexual risk avoidance, and helped to educate others. To this day, I'm passionate about helping others navigate their teenage years with knowledge and resources that I lacked at that time. Oh, wow. I was about to bring this up, but then she brought it up. Teens have worse pregnancies because they're not as healthy and they're also not adult-minded, so they can't take better care of themselves. So they have a lot of premature kids and kids with birth defects because they're also not physically mature. So a lot of them cannot or do not have a healthy pregnancy. It's not a secret. This is a known fact. My baby girl Brianna was born prematurely at 27 weeks. Yeah, because when your baby is born prematurely, that's your body saying an abort mission. It bothers me so much that, like, so many doctors are like, yeah, we just don't know why premature labor happens. We just don't know. It just happens randomly. No, the fuck it doesn't. Mom is stressed the fuck out 100% of the time, I promise you. And that is the worst thing for pregnancy. You're so stressed out. Your body's like, oh, you're stressed? Okay, let's expel this pregnancy. Let's terminate the pregnancy so you, mom, you, number one human, can survive. It's not a secret. I watched her fighting for her life 40 days in the NICU. Yeah, is that something that a teen is capable of? No. A teen isn't even capable of having a healthy child. That was really scary, but I could feel the prayers of my boyfriend's family and mine carry us through that time. She hasn't even mentioned the boyfriend other than the fact that now his boyfriend's family's prayers were helpful to her. I graduated high school on the principal's list, got married, have 2 more kids, and have entered a career in teen pregnancy care world that I love. See, is that true? That's messed up. You should be advocating for abortions to happen all of the time. Because this horrible experience happened to you, but you're like, oh, like this is like toxic positivity and toxic positivity propaganda. I am not having this shit, and no one should have this shit because we know it's wrong for children to have children. We know that. This is a first world country, baby. This ain't fucking some third world place. You know what? That's not even true because there are plenty of places that are third world level. But there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. In this day and age, there is no excuse. There was actually no excuse for this 40 years ago because you could still get an abortion 40 years ago, and you can get abortions in most states. And if you can't get an abortion in your state, chances are you can travel to a state where you can obtain one. Brianna is now grown up and married with a little girl of her own. She has told me before how grateful she is that I chose to have her and that I didn't listen to everyone telling me to have an abortion. She believes her life matters and is grateful for her story. Okay. Who knew that what I thought was the most hopeless moment in my life would lead to so much joy, hope, and fulfillment? Teen pregnancy is not easy. It comes with many challenges, but those challenges can also reveal new strength you didn't know you had. Be brave. Find the people who will support you and be confident in your decision. No matter what anyone else says, you can do this. If you're facing an unplanned pregnancy, you're not alone. Chat with us. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't care. I really don't care. That's absolutely also not true. That is 100% not fucking true. And anyone with 3 or 4 brain cells to rub together could tell you that there are plenty of pregnant girls or just girls or kids, homeless kids, who have no support, who have little to no support, who will get little to no support, who have to be pregnant and leave their baby at the hospital because they have no other choice. Is that good? Is that good? I absolutely hate stories like this because this is the minority. This is the 1 in a million times that it worked, quote unquote, right? This does not happen often. Most people, most girls who become pregnant don't have a good family life to start, like this girl didn't, clearly. They don't have supportive friends. They're not going to be supported by the father. She barely even mentioned the father. Did she marry? She didn't marry the father, did she? Clearly. She didn't even mention the father of her child. Now her child, she said her child is married. Well, good for her. But most of the time, you know what's actually really interesting is, and this is true, you can look it up, okay? Most of the time when a girl becomes pregnant, it's more often than not a girl that she has. She more often than not has a girl and not a boy. And that's because biology recognizes her as weak. That's because biology recognizes her as weak isn't the best way to put it, but biology recognizes her, nature recognizes her as vulnerable. And she says, oh, okay, well, you're not doing so hot. You'll have a girl. That way, when your daughter's 14, she can get pregnant too. Maybe, and at least the reproduction will continue. Things like this really bother me because we act like we don't have the technology we have. We act like we don't have the medical care that we have. We act like we don't have the mountains of information I previously mentioned that show us that children of teen parents fare far worse. And it's wrong to do that. It's wrong to act that way.